All right, let's talk about something that trips a lot of people up. We're diving into a really critical idea: why a good income doesn't automatically make you wealthy. In fact, we're going to explore how a high salary can sometimes do the opposite. It can trap you in a cycle of financial stress. We're calling it the asset poverty trap.
Does this sound familiar? You're doing well. You get a raise, maybe you're even pulling in a six-figure salary. But when you look at your bank account at the end of the month, there's just not much left. You feel like you're on a treadmill, running faster and faster just to stay in the same spot. It's an incredibly common feeling. And guess what? There's a name for the problem.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by tearing down the income illusion. Then we'll get into what asset poverty really is, look at the common money traps that catch people, and compare two totally different ways of thinking: the earner versus the owner mindset. We'll show you the real wealth gap, and then, most importantly, talk about how to get off that treadmill for good.
Okay, first things first, what exactly is asset poverty? To get it, we have to look way beyond the monthly paycheck and think about what true financial stability really means.
See, asset poverty has nothing to do with how much you make each month. It's all about your financial resilience. The official definition boils down to one simple, kind of scary question. If your paycheck stopped coming in tomorrow, could you cover your basic needs for just 3 months? It's a measure of your financial shock absorbers.
And this right here is the heart of the matter. Income, that's just cash flow. It pays today's bills. It's what you earn. But wealth, that's your net worth. That's your security for tomorrow. It's what you own. Your assets, things like savings, investments, property, that's your real safety net. That's the engine for your future. So how big of a deal is this? Well, the numbers are pretty staggering. A whopping 44% of American households are in a state of liquid asset poverty. Think about that. That's almost half the country walking on a financial tightrope, one unexpected car repair or medical bill away from serious trouble, no matter how good their salary looks on paper. So what's keeping people stuck on this financial hamster wheel? Well, it usually comes down to a few common behaviors we're going to call middle-class money traps.
I'm sure some of these look familiar. You've got keeping up with the Joneses, that pressure to buy stuff we don't need to impress people we might not even like. And then there's its sneaky cousin, lifestyle inflation. You get a raise, and suddenly your spending magically rises to meet it. A nicer car, a bigger apartment, and before you know it, you're back to square one. This whole cycle is usually fueled by high-interest credit card debt, and it all happens because there's no real long-term plan in place.
This quote from financial advisor Angela Johnson just nails it. Every single dollar you pay in interest on a loan or a credit card is a dollar you're not using to build your own wealth. You're literally transferring your hard-earned money to make banks and credit card companies richer. You're building their assets, not your own.
Now, getting out of these traps isn't just about making a better budget. It requires a really profound shift in how you think about money. It's all about moving from an earner mindset to an owner mindset.
Let's break down the difference, because it is huge. The earner on the left, they're focused on their salary, their next raise. They're trading their time for cash. They spend first and then maybe save whatever's left over. But the owner on the right, they're playing a totally different game. Their main focus is on buying or building assets, things that make money for them. They completely flip the script. They plan, they build their assets, and then they spend what's left. For them, debt isn't for a new TV, it's a tool they can use strategically to buy another asset.
And this difference in mindset, it's not just a philosophical thing. It creates a massive, measurable gap in the real world. Let's take a look at the data on the real wealth gap.
So check this out. According to data from the Pew Research Center, the difference is just wow. Back in 2013, the median middle-income family had a net worth around $98,000. Okay, but the median upper-income family? Over $650,000. That is almost a seven-fold difference. The wealth gap is so much wider than the income gap, and it all comes down to one thing: assets.
So where does that huge gap come from? What makes the difference so extreme? Well, the answer is in what kind of assets each group owns. It's all about the portfolio.
So for your typical middle-income family, about half of their entire net worth is tied up in their home. 50%. That's a huge amount of wealth concentrated in a single asset that doesn't produce any income and isn't easy to turn into cash. It makes them really vulnerable if the housing market takes a hit.
Now, let's compare that to the upper-income family. It's a completely different world. Their home equity is only about 20% of their wealth. The rest is spread out across assets that actually grow and generate their own income. We're talking business assets, stocks, bonds. It's not just a bigger portfolio, it's a smarter, more resilient financial structure.
Okay, so after all of that, what's the one thing you need to remember? What's the secret to actually escaping that treadmill?
It really is this simple. The key is to shift your primary financial focus away from just earning more money to systematically owning more assets. Your income pays the bills today. Your assets are what will secure your tomorrow. That is the fundamental idea that separates the income-rich but asset-poor from those who are truly wealthy.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Take a hard look at your own finances, your habits, and your goals. Is your financial plan just designed to keep you running on that treadmill, chasing the next paycheck forever? Or is it designed to help you get off of it for good by building a foundation of assets that work for you? Because the answer to that question, well, it changes absolutely everything.